If you don't have a person teaching you how to be the best version of yourself, then how are you going to be that? Plain and simple.
What's up, gang? Another episode, Conversations with Us. Today I got my brother, Tulz Madala.
It's Jam.
King, thanks for coming through, bruh. And joining us in this conversation where it's our attempt to heal the nation.
Hey, if that's possible.
If that's possible, my dog. So if you guys haven't checked out our episode on Dude, I'm Not a Chef, come on, wasting time. Do not underestimate the power of training.
Okay.
Training the acting muscle. Whether, I'm not saying go to after, but there are other institutions that you can go to. If you can't afford to go to institutions, there are literally acting classes available online that you can register for and just keep attending those acting classes.
But train.
Yes, but train.
On YouTube, man. Go and like and comment and do all that jazz.
Yeah. On Dude, I'm Not a Chef, man. That's his channel. So now we've done show for show, Conversations with Us. These are called the Blind Fait Conversations with Us because, as the audience knows, and as you might know, I'm working on a film called Blind Fait.
Okay.
And this film is about a young lady who is battling grief and trauma.
Okay.
And in a society that is blind to her mental health.
Okay.
You know, she lost her parents, both her parents in one accident, and as they were about to fetch her from the airport. So she never really got to see her parents.
So you wrote this, man?
Yeah. I wrote this, directing it. I'm also going to be acting in this one. Because hey, the last one did so well and I didn't act in it, and the actor in me kind of felt jealous.
Yeah, especially because it's your baby as well and you see it coming out on a certain way.
Yeah. What's your take on people's, like the general public's awareness when it comes to mental health?
I think it's only something that people take seriously or become aware of when it affects them. You know? I know in my family, only until we had a member of our family experiencing challenges like with mental health, did it only become apparent to us. You know? But that's not when we speak. If you're mentally challenged, which already speaks to a lot of what's wrong with how we communicate within the black community, amongst ourselves.
About
mental health. He need depression in this one.
Again, Angas.
And depression is a real thing.
Yeah.
And so many things contribute to it.
Yeah.
Lifestyle, mental state, down to food, you know? And the things that you choose to put
consume.
in your body. Yeah. So it's a real thing. So the state definitely is not where it needs to be, especially amongst the black community.
Yeah. And I think that's what, for me, makes it so important. Ukuthi izinto enjenge mental health, challenges like mental health, conditions like mental health, societal issues like mental health are communicated in film. And through film, where people now get a visual representation, you know, because again, you need depression is Zulu. But if kukhona ifilm engiyibukayo eyibonisayo, then ngiyakwazi ukukhuluma nomuntu osemakhaya ukuthi yayibona ke lento lona uSindi obeyifesa ibizwa ke ngegrief, ukugrieva ke loyo nto in an unhealthy way. So now grieving in a healthy way is where now sekufika ke the mental health practitioners that are at our workshops esekhuluma ngawo ke say unpack more and more. But now bengifuna ukungena ke to logo what you're saying, what's it, the dialogue in societies and in our immediate societies is it doesn't really kind of support
not
awareness.
conducive.
What role do you think as Tina, because radio, you're a prominent voice on radio, when the manjama activations, you know, where you're speaking to kids who want to get into radio, you know, but kukona ama mental health challenges that you face trying to break into the radio sphere. Before singing when how do you combat those things? What are some of the things that people might not know, or would see people in the radio industry go through?
Well, I always compare radio to football in the sense that every DJ is a player, and every season there's a possibility that you can get traded as you would in soccer.
Okay.
The difference is we don't sign 3-4 year deals. Most of the time you work year by year by year by year. You've got a coach that you need to ensure likes you, because if a coach doesn't like you, regardless of whether you're good or not, you can get drafted, and you get traded, you know? So every year, you know, Mac G likes to laugh about it on his podcast. There's a certain level of anxiety that comes with your job security. Am I still coming back? Am I not? And usually the reason is never even that expensive. It's just we're taking a different direction, or it's no longer working. It could be anything.
Yeah.
So that's, I always say, but we have a little bit less security.
How would you compare the anxiety, because you're also an actor, how would you compare the anxiety of Tulz the radio DJ and Tulz the actor?
Radio is more stable because I work monthly and I get a salary. Acting, you're constantly living in Big Breakville, you know? I mean, I just shot a commercial now for Flying Fish. People will assume it's a lot of money. It's not. It's only coming in 3 months.
Yeah.
So how do I get to set when we're shooting? How do I love acting. It's more of a passion.
And I sit here njengamanje yenzeka lento lena hypothetically YFM awokho backing you.
Exactly.
To go to set.
Without radio backing me, I can't get to set. I can't pay rent. Stay in Joburg so that I'm able to go to these auditions, you know? So acting for me is a huge passion project. That's my only. I've gotten 2 gigs this year so far.
Yeah.
I can't even say I've made over 50,000.
Damn.
You know.
Yeah.
So, and this is what are we in now? We're in May.
We're in May.
So if I'm cruising with 30,000, January, February, March, April, May, 5 months.
30 plus.
Aye.
Lapho ongene uney'kweletu vele because
ayikangeni. By the time it comes in, sengiboneke wonke umuntu ngamtshela ukuthi angithi uyibonile i-ATM years. So that's the dark side of acting. But kumnandi.
Yeah. So and that's the thing. Like we've got, I've got younger siblings there and younger cousins, you know, and nephews and nieces, you know, and I know there's a handful of them about to pursue the entertainment industry. And I'm with it because I feel like dreams should never die. If you have a dream, you should really push for it. Uziyenze. But into engiyikhulumayo kubona is please understand the business yalento le. That's where I want you guys to focus.
What do they want to do?
Learn.
What do they want to do?
So for example, my sister, she wants to be a musician.
Woo! Yeah.
So my thing to her was, okay, I get it. You want to go to studio and all of that, and I know what that will do for you. But I want you in your own time, because usane passion yalento le. Study the business of it.
Not just the glitz and the glam.
Yeah. Because that's what Iona Linda's hair high into this lifestyle is from a peel. But then ufunda once you're in the industry, you go to, damn, I need to understand the business of it.
Definitely, bro. I mean, I went to, after to study acting. I got there, I was like, nah, I'm gonna do producing. Excuse me, only because I wanted to understand the business of it, right? And my reasoning was, I might love acting, but I'd rather learn something that will put me in a space whereby I can produce my own show.
Yeah.
Where I act in it, as opposed to being here and learning how to act and sharpening your tools, which is obviously very important. But Fana, you need to know both sides. You need to know in front and behind. You know.
I read a quote from one of these famous actors, Hollywood actors, and would say, if you want to make acting a career, your days of sitting around and waiting for work are probably over. You have to sit down and think and create your own work, because only you can give yourself that opportunity. You know.
Also, a lot of people justify not working for the lack thereof attention.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
So, for example, I'll shoot an episode of Dude, I'm Not a Chef, and I only get 200 to 300 views. Someone could be like, that's a waste of time. I don't give a fuck. That product is still out there.
It's out there.
I still want it to be quality until it gets to a point where people do have the attention on it and it is the focus. But I need to make sure I'm still delivering and working towards sharpening my ability, so that when they do get there, it's a well-oiled machine. You know? So a lot of people, especially creators, will justify not doing the work because no one is watching. So why are you doing it? Are you doing it for people to say that you're great, or are you doing it to master the craft and become a better artist overall? You know, I don't want to sound like a thespian, but create, dog.
Yeah, no, but that's what it is. I mean, and I think one of the things about going to after and learning the business of it, and we're not being advocates for after here, but also just let me just say, of learning the business of it. Ileyo nto ekwenza ukuthi, okay, how can I leverage this opportunity right now? You know, because you've got listeners on radio. Those listeners that love you are gonna gravitate towards the work that Tulz is doing. You know, so that's where now it's okay. We've spoken about the business and leveraging opportunities, and also just looking at at the industries that we want to pursue careers in, looking at it from a business side of view. So what are some of the things that you have implemented for a brand called Tulz Madala?
Strange because we're speaking about it, but after I came out the house, the first thing I did was a Jersey drive. And that was working towards brand tools, because it wasn't in a good space, you know, particularly on your Twitters and social media. So I wanted to do something that, one, I wanted to do, but also something that shows that I'm not this evil, vindictive, you know. So that sort of helped get me out of that rough patch. Creating then a show where I can cook and have something apart from the radio side of things was also very important. So Dude, I'm Not a Chef is something I then created to separate me, one, from the people that I work with, right? Because we might all be DJs, but there has to be things that
separate you. Tulz,
we haven't taught.
This is what Tulz does.
So if he Tiski, what position am I playing? You know, what attributes do I have that set me apart from anywhere else? So yeah, the creation of that show, obviously then work chops and changes, bro. Trips and drives, but there'll be MCing gigs, there'll be corporate, sometimes it's parties, there'll be acting stuff when they come, you know. Yeah, that's about it. And obviously trying to make sure that your social media is clean. Your posts are also clean, aligning yourself with the right kind of brands. I've been blessed to work with like pretty good brands, your Robertson's, Lunch Bars, you know, I could go on and on and on. But ensuring that when a person comes to your profile, they think, okay, I could
associate
with this guy. I could work with this guy. Because you are a brand as much as these products are brands as well. So it's been that, managing that, building that. I'm trying to increase my social media presence, which is not easy.
It's not. There's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people that are posting, creating content, clickbait content, I think like there's a lot that you do just to try and leverage a brand got tools to be marketable, to be a brand as I know as Robertson's I can partner with Tulz, where he's gonna shoot something clean, something that's really gonna make our brand also look good. But all of this, and ukhulumile before, anxiety is with being in the spaces that you are in. So now, how does Tulz Madala then, coming to the mental health conversation again, how does then Tulz Madala take care of his mental health with all of these
multiple things?
Yeah, multiple things that you are trying to create, but the realities of real life pressure still exist.
Yeah. Bro, gym is underestimated,
Yeah?
Gym is
Gym, exercise.
Promise you. And I'm not like young model now, I'm not like ripped, But a lot of the days when I'm having a shitty day, going to the gym is the best form of release. Apart from that, smoke a J, my nigga.
Smoke a J and relax.
Yeah, but to be serious, there's I don't have a routine, a particular set routine. But I just try and speak about my problems when I have them with my family, my mother, and close friends. As opposed to isolating yourself and keeping it a secret. But I'd be lying if I said, Shai yoga routine. It's the gym. Gym is really the best escape for me.
Because you talk about sharing with abantu who are close to you.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, Usendi is in a society that is blind to a mental health because umuntu onemali, umuntu who just inherited money from her parents passing, and really her parents were already wealthy.
Okay. So money's never been a problem.
It's never really been a problem. Which angithi, yes, we're not gonna dispute ukuthi financial stress is probably at a high percentage amongst black society.
Of course, yeah.
But now that thing, you talk to people and you don't keep it inside you.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean ukuthi omunye umuntu obona uTools esebenza, eshaya lama gigs lawa, but you talk about ukuthi une-anxiety, ukuthi it's an on and off thing, omunye umuntu is not expecting you to have ama-stresses akanjalo because you're financially stable, man.
Yeah,
but why
is that even
versus to
people assume? That's the unfortunate thing about working in the public space, is that people assume that you're financially stable because you have to work within people's eyesight. You have to work in front of people. So because of that, people just assume grand, umnand. But it's not always necessarily the case. I mean, things could be definitely worse. I'm not going through, what I've been through before. But trust me, don't assume that I or most of the industry is financially good purely because you see them on a TV show, or you see an ad with me and you think
he's financially good.
No. Again, these gigs. Look at it this way, bro. If you get a commercial and your commercial is say 10K, from that 10K, let's say you're gonna spend 5 to 1,000 rand just getting to and from set. No exaggeration. I mean, the last time I shot, I was shooting in Zone 6.
Yeah.
Right. Fair. Then you're gonna have.
And it's odd hours, so you have to
be
take
there.
an Uber.
You have to be there at 5. No, fine. It's pull it up. Then you have to pay your agency fees, which chop and change, but they not fine. They're
Let's
not
say
easy.
12% of Leo Mali.
Not your 12 man.
Or 17.
Even 20.
Actually, yeah, 20.
20.
Let's say 20%.
My agency, I still complain, it's 36%. When I found out after doing a couple of gigs, there is 36%. And one kalabati no, but anyway, right? Then the government is still there.
Yep, 25%.
25%. So it was the 1,000 rand that you spent there, right? Plus the 25% taken by SARS, which is 2.5. That's 3.5 already gone. Plus another 2,000 rand that belongs to the agent. That's 5,500 rand.
Gone.
Usala the 4,400, 500 from the money that you made.
Less than 50%.
We are born.
So then, what is your take on the relationship between financial stability and mental health, conditioning, the financial stress,
Look, I'm not an expert, but I think you just need to find peace and joy with or without money. People that are unsettled or unhappy when there's no money usually suffer because money is unpredictable. Money is unpredictable. Here today, gone tomorrow. Some of the richest, most learned people can share those stories,
So just because umuntu has imali doesn't mean akufanele bebe nama mental health issues.
I mean, there's some people out there who are the brokest but are the most happiest. So linking the two is more of how you approach or choose to reason with situations and things. But you can't say without money that you're guaranteed to be depressed. There's a certain part of you that accepts that and moves towards it. That's a fact.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'd be happy without money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can't push this narrative that it's the only way to be.
Yeah.
Because there are people with money that are unhappy. So it go anyway to a certain extent.
Right. And I think, this is just one theme within the film. Yeah, the relationship of money and mental health. There's also the thing of talking, which before we close, there's a huge notion of ukuthi abantu abafuna ukukhuluma ngenxa yokuthi abamthembi umuntu othile ukuthi uzoyigcina into yabo, even within family. Ngisho ngathi hey, okay fine, ungakhulumi nabangani, khulume nomuntu omndeni, still ingenzeka ukuthi kube umuntu omndeni, the closest person that you have to your family, to you, kubo yena ogcina mfethu one day, who uses lezi zinto lezi that you face and you tell them against you. So what would you just like advise to that, like as people that are living with people, we even have to actually be compassionate towards each other about izinto that people might be going through, but what is that? What do you say when a bit to Leo block eba corner where you're going through something, but you feel like there's nobody on earth that you can trust with this thing?
I feel like you can't trust the world.
Yeah.
One thing that's underrated, and I'm also working towards investing in it, is having a life coach. Having a person that look at it this way: if you want to become a professional basketball player,
get a coach.
You get a coach. If you want to become a professional anything, even if you want to become a DJ, you have to get someone to teach you how to DJ in order for you to become
mentor.
Yeah, well, so if you don't have a person teaching you how to be the best version of yourself, then how are you gonna be that? Plain and simple. Psychiatrists, people are afraid of it because it's taboo, and again, it's like you're crazy, and yeah. But I want to get one, so I can unpack the things I think I've unpacked, the feelings, the thoughts, all that jazz. Umuntu uzofika athi, okay, yabo no, uyapayeza. Unamanga la, you're valid in feeling this, you're not valid in feeling that. So I would say, try and invest in that, man. Because if you don't, then you're pissing in the wind and hoping it lands on the right spot. And it will come out. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's and again, I'm not doing it either at this point in time, but I want to. I've done it. It's not the cheapest thing, but it's also not the most expensive thing. So invest in yourself.
Yeah, investing in yourself, man. Looking at leveraging opportunities with the skills that you have. Looking at the industries that you are going into and have passion about as an industry, as a business.
Yeah.
You know, yes, it's a passion, but also look at it from a business point of view.
It's like Jay-Z, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Yeah.
And yeah, I guess investing in yourself, like you have said.
Extremely crucial, so yeah.
My brother Tulz, thank you so much for dropping
Thank
gems.
you for having me, my brother.
Blind Fait Conversations with Ice. Blind Fait is coming. Cop yourself a triple citizen cologne.
Fa.
Hit us up on the WhatsApp link below. Blind Fait is coming. Keep your eyes. Watch the space. Peace.